Hey, what up, everybody? It's your boy King Legend 757. Listen, a lot of people always hit me up. They're always asking me, "Yo, I'm new to podcasting. What can you do to help me? I just want to know what tips do you have for me? I see you doing your thing. You know what I'm saying? I have a lot of people hit my DMs with this kind of question on Instagram specifically. So I decided, you know what? I always have people ask me this question. I'm such a nice guy. Like I pour my heart out. You know what I'm saying? The DMs trying to help them. But so many people have been asking me this question. I decided to just make this video for those people who may be new to podcasting, not knowing exactly what direction to go to. Believe it or not, I have not been podcasting that long. But I have accomplished a lot of stuff. And of course, it has a lot to do with the support, the community that was built around my podcast. And also has a lot to do with the celebrity guests that I do have come on my platform. So normally, if I had to guess, I would say the majority of the people that reach out to me for advice is because they have witnessed the show and the celebrity guests that I've had on the platform, and they're really curious on how to get to the next level of podcasting. Not to mention, my show is a 5-time award winning podcast and it's on iHeartRadio. So it's a lot of things that's going on with the show right now, which raises a lot of questions from a lot of people. And so that's why I decided to make this video. So if you're the person and you're like, yo, I want to start a podcast, I think I got a lot to talk about, but I have no idea where to begin, this video is for you. So for starters, I think the first tip of advice I would give out is to pretty much ask yourself, why do you want to start a podcast? You know, there are many different types of podcasts out there. What is your purpose of your podcast? Like, why do you want one? Do you just want to talk about whatever? Or do you just like enjoy talking or something? Like, why do you want to have a podcast? You need to figure that out from the start, because if you don't know why you want to have a podcast, people are not going to know why they want to listen. So you need to know the why, because that will also follow you into the passion. Like, are you passionate about the topics you're talking about? What I've learned is that the most successful things, when it comes to people consuming content, it usually has a lot to do about the value of that content. So when you have a podcast, you need to make sure you're providing value to the listener. Like, why would they spend their time of their day to listen to your show? So you need to provide value. On my show, I interview celebrities about their road to success to inspire other people to follow their dreams. So the type of guests I have on the show are well known, and they're sharing that their humble beginnings with people. So, people from the projects, people that didn't have it like that growing up, people that struggle, people that deal with rejection and still somehow overcame those obstacles. That's the kind of inspiration that I provide to the people listening in on King Legend Talks. So you need to know the why, that you want to do it. You need to figure out what value, and the reason those two things are so important is because that's going to show you where to go, the direction for your show, which means finding your audience. And so there are many different ways to find your audience. I always tell people that there's always an audience out there for you. You know what I'm saying? So, like, whatever your niche is, there's an audience for you. You need to figure out, where do your audience hang on social media. That's a big deal when it comes to building your show. When you first start off, unless you're already famous or something like that, you're gonna have to start from the ground up. I mean, it's like nobody listening to your show. other than maybe a couple of family, friends that you may have pitched to them, hey, I'm starting a podcast. Can you listen to my show? But as far as like a community, that should be your focus. You want to build a community around your podcast so that way you have those repeated listeners, people that's waiting on your next episode to drop. That's also very important. Now, one of the main core things when it comes to having your show successful is having that proper vision. You need to see the road ahead of you. You need to know, you need to plan, you need to figure out what content am I going to be talking about this week? What am I going to be doing? Because content is king. You can't have a show, you drop an episode week one, and then nobody hear from you another whole 2 to 3 months before your next episode. So you need to have that constant content. You need to keep pushing it, pushing it, pushing it, because eventually people will catch up. You know what I'm saying? They hear a good interview, they like it, or they hear a good episode, they love it. They're gonna go back. Oh, I wonder what else they got going on. So eventually, people will catch up. So the important thing is to push that content out there. As far as growing your fan base, you have to find out where your listeners are hanging out on social media. So if I got a podcast and we're talking about depression, well, what I would do is go on Facebook, find groups that are designed to help people dealing with depression, and go become members of those groups, join those communities, and actually add value to the community without promoting your podcast in the community. And you see, that's the catch. A lot of people be like, oh, I try to get on Facebook, I join groups, and blah, blah, blah. No, you didn't do it right. Because if you do it right, when you join a group, you're going to be joining a community of people with a problem. And you have the answer to that problem. You have to figure out a way of pitching it to them without sounding like an advertisement. People don't like ads, they skip all the time. You know what I'm saying? So, what you have to do is, say, for instance, a person is dealing with depression, you guys are in a mutual conversation about it, and you say, hey, look, you know, depression is very rough for people. They go through it, so much trauma. It reminds me of this video I watched on YouTube. You should watch it when you get the chance. Boom. That's it. Don't say, hey, I got a podcast. You need to go check it out. I interview people and we talk about depression. They don't want to hear all that. You just told them that you have an answer to their problem and you provided them a source where they can go find the answer. Okay? They don't have to know, they'll find out eventually. But if you do this repetitive, like enough times over and over again, you'll start to develop a audience. So that's a big deal. That's why I spend so much time on that. But that's important. Now, when it comes to like special guests, you got to reach out to people, and you're gonna get a lot of no's before you get yes, especially when you're first starting. A lot of people are not gonna trust you. Like, what are you? Who are you? A lot of bougie people. I'm talking about celebrities, y'all. It's probably very easy to find guests that are just your everyday people that's enjoying life, being their best version of themselves every day. But I'm talking about those bougie top tier celebrities. Most of them, they're gonna be bougie and they want to know what you've done in the past. Meaning, when you first start out, if that's your goal and you want to get to that level of interviewing celebrities, you're gonna have to just deal with rejection for a while, unless you know people. Okay, and that's where I would start. I would start with who you know, and then build from there. If you don't know any celebrities or friends of celebrities, then you're gonna have to get ready, put on your grown folks pants, and ask away. And you can't quit. Like, keep going. And I mean, like, you're gonna have to reach out to a lot of people, but it does not matter, because when you get that one yes, in my case it was Fat Joe, but when you get that one yes, that's it. It was all worth it. You get what I'm saying? So you do all of that hard work, you reach out to people, and you finally get a yes. You do the best interview you can in your possible life, because that is going to be your promotion for your next guest and your next guest. And then you're going to follow suit before you know it. You done build a resume. Now, when you pitch it to big publicists and different publications, they're gonna be like, "Well, who did you interview? Name a couple of celebrities you've had on your show." You know, now you're gonna have a list. You have to build that list. It's a growing pain. So that's another portion of the tips. What I also recommend is that you join a podcast community, so that way you can learn from other podcasters. Use the groups on Facebook what they were designed to be used for. So don't join a podcast community trying to get other people to follow your podcast. It's so stupid. I'm sorry, it is. Podcasters aren't interested in following other podcasters unless they're motivated by that podcaster. Like they look up to them like a role model, big brother, big sister. But as far as like actually listening to your show, they're doing their own show. They really don't care about your show. So do not go into a podcast group saying, "Hey guys, I'm gonna drop my link. Go follow it," because ain't nobody gonna do that. Now, if you go into a podcast group and you have that attitude where it's like, I genuinely want to learn, like, "Hey guys, what kind of podcasting equipment you're gonna use? What do you suggest? What is your favorite type of microphone?" That's the kind of information you're gonna get from that group where it's gonna be beneficial to you and your success. So I always tell people when it comes to Facebook, the groups are very much well alive. They are what you make them. If you're the type of person that, say, for you got a YouTube channel, you join a whole bunch of YouTube groups. Well, everyone's just posting their videos and leaving. No one's contributing to the community. So what is that doing for you? Absolutely nothing but wasting your time. So when you join a group, join with the intention of becoming part of that community. Then you develop relationships and you're able to build and network. That's important. Before you know it, you're in a podcasting community. Now you're a special guest on somebody else's podcast. You know what I'm saying? And then now you're tapping into their audience, and then they're like, "Hey, let's share the love. Let me be a guest on your show." So that's only happens when you become part of the community. So that's a big deal. Branding. I cannot stress how important branding is. You want to be professional. You want to get you a website. You want to make sure your website is looking good. You know what I'm saying? You want to make sure you investing in your equipment, your podcast setup, whatever the case may be. Microphone is king. You want to definitely make sure you have a decent microphone. Um, Another thing I could say, make sure you have your logo. This is all part of branding. Your logo, your radio drops. That's important because everyone knows if you're using some stock intro or some stock outro on Anchor, everybody knows it is cringy. Um, Let me let you guys listen to my intro. One of them, anyway. I have a couple.
Hey, you are now tuned in with King Legend Talks. The most influential, groundbreaking podcast of the year. Featuring some of the dopest celebrities and influencers in the world.
This is Fat Joe.
Hey, what's good, everybody? It's your boy, PJ Howard.
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's B. Scott with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is JR from CBS Sports Radio, the JR Sport Brief Show. I'm going to be chatting it up with King Legend.
King Legend always asks the questions that inspire and motivate others to follow their dreams.
It's helped me grow as a person.
By learning from each other, together we can make a difference.
It's drastically changed my life.
So turn the volume up, and tell a friend to tune in. It's about to go down in the PM.
Going down, man.
It's your host all the way from VA, the one and only King Legend. The one and only King Legend. On King Legend Talks.
So yeah, man, that's what I'm saying. That's like my intro. When I go live, when I'm about to have a special guest on the platform, I always play that because that gives them that professional vibe. They're like, "Oh, snap. I'm really on some big stuff right now." You know what I'm saying? So it's important. Hack. Go on Fiverr.com. I'm not sponsored or affiliated with them, but go on Fiverr.com. You can search DJ drops. You can send it to them, and they'll get it done for you within probably 3 to 4 days. Talking $25-$40 to invest in your podcast. You can't beat that, to get a professional sounding drop just like that. You do that, that's just gonna take you all the way here. You here, it's gonna take you here that quick, just on the level of professionalism. Little small things you can do, like the banner I got in the back over here. You know, my podcast is another thing. It's on iHeartRadio, right? It sounds great. Oh snap! It's King Legend Talks, and it's on iHeartRadio. Disclaimer: that's all branding. Okay, you can get your podcast on iHeartRadio as well. All you have to do is submit an application for your podcast to be on their platform, and they either gonna say yay or nay. But it's not that complicated, you guys. It's really not. But a lot of people don't have that information, that knowledge. So what they see is iHeartRadio. But what you don't understand is that is branding, that is exposure for you. Because now when people are trying to be guests on your show, they're like, well, it's an iHeartRadio podcast. Even if they don't know your show name, they know it's iHeartRadio. So that brand is well known amongst a lot of people, and it will land you some interviews for sure. It will land you a lot of public interest for sure. It all depends on how you leverage it and how you use it. Now, another thing, another tip. I'm going through the rundown because a lot of people, like I said, they ask me this information in the DMs, and it's just too much. So I'm gonna make this video for you guys. Like I said, another thing I do is when people are going to be guests on your show, it's in your best interest to promote the episode. You know, now what's unique about my show is that I interview all of my guests live on Instagram and then repost the interviews on like my other platforms. You know, Spotify, iHeartRadio. You know, the whole shebang. I repost everything. But the key about that is that when I do it live on Instagram, now I have a video version of the interview and I have an audio version of the interview. So which means I can post the interview on YouTube as well. So it's always a good thing because people have different types of listening skills. You know what I'm saying? Some people are visual, they want to see the video. Some people are listeners, they want to hear it. So you have to try and please everybody when it comes to that sense, just to keep your show in the trending section, basically. Um, so once you do all of that, you got your branding together, you got your game plan together, you're reaching out to people, you're growing your show. It comes time to get some awards. You know what I'm saying? Get some awards behind your podcast. And this is not a flex, but excuse me. Hold on. Wait a minute. Yeah. All right. So you see, I got a lot of awards right here, all for the podcast. Okay. So get some awards behind your podcast. These are not that hard to get. You just have to apply. Meaning, go search for podcast awards, shows, events, or whatever the case may be. Most of them are virtual, meaning you don't have to go there in person. It's based on, a lot of them are based on, um, you know, votes, how many people you can get to support your show type deals. Um, so you find one, apply for it, just go for it, man. You never know what could happen. That's what happened for me. And hey, 5 podcast awards, and we ended. You know what I'm saying? So now when I promote the show, I say, hey, my name is Deion Campbell, better known online as King Legend 757. I have a 5-time award-winning podcast called King Legend Talks. When you hear that, man, come on. You know it sounds interesting. Because at the end of the day, they're thinking about, it's on iHeartRadio, 5 times award-winning show. All right, I might give them my time of day. But it's all a growing process. You're going to get there. You know what I'm saying? What else is next? So I got the branding. Okay, money. That's what a lot of people want to know. How do you make money? Okay. Well, there are different ways you can make money. Promo will be the number one way. Sponsorships, things like that, partner deals. with people, collabing with people, using once you grow your audience to a certain level, you'll start to be able to charge people to be on your platform. Now, that has a lot to do with your type of platform, I think. Me personally speaking, I genuinely want to help people and provide value for people. So, money was never my focus when I started my podcast. Now, it may be different for you. Money might be your focus. So there are many different ways to make money and monetize your podcast. If you're on Anchor, for an example, you can actually do commercials and put them in your podcast. And every time somebody listens to your podcast, you kind of get royalties on that. So there are many different ways to make money on podcasts. So I don't want to get too specific in it, but I know the most lucrative way to make money on it is to actually just charge people to be on your show, man. Be a special guest, charge them. All right, make you a Fiverr account and say, hey, get interviewed on iHeartRadio, and people actually bite. Now, I've never been that type of guy to want to do that, but I know there are plenty of people that have a profiles on Fiverr offering to interview people, and people are very, very interested in interviews and are paying people to interview them just to kind of build their online presence, so to speak. Meaning, when you interview somebody, they have a blog site that kind of go along with it hand to hand. So now they got your interview and they're on a blog site. And if your blog is on Google News, well, then that helps them a little bit more clout and authority online to help them get verified on social media and things of that nature. So I want to say, I think that covers everything in a nutshell. I know it was a lot of information. You may have to play this video back a couple of times, but here's what's really important. Don't give up. Don't quit. When you first start, you're going to feel like you're hitting a lot of obstacles. Maybe it's not giving you that same traction that you thought it was going to do. Maybe you're not getting the feedback. You feel like you're talking to yourself. Just know all of that is part of the process, okay? It is fine. What is important is that you stay consistent because all you need is one. Remember that. All you need is one video, one podcast, one episode to go viral. You need one person that be so inspired by your show that they just want to share it with the world. All you need is one. Once you get that, I'm telling you, it will be worth it for all the hard times. Um, I personally speaking, I had a very, very, very clear direction and path I wanted to take the show. Um, from the beginning, I already knew I want to interview celebrities. I want to get the top tier celebrities. I want them on my show. I want my show to be a household name. I want people to feel like they can come on my platform and it has respect in the industry. That's what my goal was from the beginning, and to help as many people as possible through the guests that I have on the show. Meaning, I say that to say this. I lost a lot of people that were so-called supporters and friends because they got offended. Because once your show starts to do good, you're going to notice people are going to be wanting to get on your platform. So they're going to be hitting you up. Hey, man, what's up with the interview? I'm trying to get on your platform. I'm trying to get an interview. And you're going to have to tell them, nah, brother, I'm sorry. Uh, that's not the direction my show is going. Trying to get a certain type of guest on my show, they're going to get offended because they're going to feel like you're telling them they're not good enough. And this is what I tell people. I'm not even good enough to get on my show, okay? So don't take it personal. It's just business. If you can't understand that, then I don't know what else to tell you, because you see a lot of people don't have your best interest at heart. They're only thinking about what they can get for themselves out of the deal. They're only thinking, well, if I say I'm on his show, I could say I have an iHeartRadio interview. Clout, man. That's what it is. It's a lot of clout. That's why getting that iHeartRadio behind you is a pretty big deal. It all depends on how you use it. You know, a lot of people don't use it right. But me personally speaking, I don't even promote my other platforms. I promote iHeartRadio, YouTube, Instagram. That's it. I keep it very simple. I don't want people to have to feel like, oh, I gotta find him on 6 different platforms. No, very simple. iHeartRadio, if you're one of the people that want to listen to podcasts the old traditional way. Instagram, if you're one of those people that like to be interactive, engaging, and you want to talk to my guests, tap in on the live. YouTube, for those people that just like to go on YouTube. You know, some people like to watch podcasts on YouTube, the visual on YouTube. So I got the 3 biggest way to consume podcasts. So that's what I do. If you do all of these things, you stay consistent, you will be successful. And then eventually, people are going to be asking you for tips. And you can tell them maybe, hopefully, one day, hey, I watched this video with King Legend. He broke it down to me. So as far as tools that I use, I do have a mobile podcast set up. I use equipment that you can buy on Amazon for cheap. I'm talking under $200 and have your whole podcast set up good to go. That's going to be very important. Invest in a good mic. Invest in a good kind of like soundboard equipment, so that way you can connect your podcast to whatever device you're using, and you can do cool stuff like podcasting for beginners. Don't quit. You got this. You know what I'm saying? So you can do fun stuff like that. You know, like kind of like Chris Rock and Will Smith. All right, too soon. But yeah, so little small stuff like that you can use to bring your show to life. You know, you want to have that. Editing is a big deal. You want to make sure you're editing your episodes, editing the sound quality, all that good stuff. Get that stuff together, man. Put that on your YouTube University checklist. Okay, podcasting equipment, editing. I use Final Cut. Um, it's fine. Okay, what's important is the value of your content. As long as the value of your content is good, people will come back. If you're going to your audience, it's not waiting on your audience to come to you. Go get it. Be a go getter. You got this. You guys can follow me on Instagram at KingLegend757. Check out my podcast for yourself. On my Instagram, you're gonna get a lot more of me. If you guys like this video and you want me to make more tutorial videos like this on podcasting specifically, do me a favor, drop a like and a comment on your favorite part of this video. And if I get a decent amount of people, if I get 20 likes, man, I'm gonna ask for much. If I get 20 likes, I'll make another video specifically about podcasting. And also, if you guys have something you would like to hear, or if you have something you want me to make a video on about podcasting, also drop that in the comment and I'll make a video on it if I feel like I can help you. Other than that, it's your boy King Legend 757. You have been listening on YouTube, and thank you for watching this random video.